Mid-50s, sun is shining, as Bruce Arians has his Cardinals scoring at a franchise record pace. Meanwhile, the 49ers, as Jim Tomsula hopes they get more points than what they're averaging, which is fewer than 14 a game.
Well, you know Arizona's going to score a lot of points. If they don't put them up today, they have no chance in this game at home. But I expect Blaine Gabbert to spread this ball around, get it out of his hand quickly, because this defense is so aggressive. See if they're able to get that done today.
Week 12, 49ers Cardinals, and touchback in the hands of Bruce Ellington, whose cousin plays for the Cardinals, Andre Ellington. And here comes Blaine Gabbert, his third start. All of his touchdown passes since he's started for San Francisco have gone to the tight end.
Well, Blaine Gabbert's been very efficient with the football. We've seen it in the past, his past two starts. Today, again, he has to get this ball out of his hands fast. This Arizona defense is not scared to blitz him. And having only played 2 games this year, I expect him to heat him up.
Sean Drone, the carry, stopped short of getting to the 25-yard line. He has been the workhorse with injury in that offensive backfield. Anquan Boldin last week returning from the hamstring injury. And on the offensive line, Andrew Tiller starting in place of Jordan Devey. Still hoping for a Daniel Kilgore return at the center spot any week now. Drone will have a first down. Showing some jets once he turned the corner. Came in averaging 3.5 yards a carry. Played all but 5 of the offensive snaps last week against Seattle. Calais Campbell having a Pro Bowl year. You'll notice the 2 rookies up front, Frosty Rucker and Corey Redding, inactive today because of injury. Kevin Minter taking in the defensive signals, the green dot on the helmet. And Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, part of an outstanding secondary. Quick pass to Torrey Smith. And Smith gets up near another first down.
This is a guy that definitely has to get going in this offense. Paid him money in the offseason, but when Colin Kaepernick was playing quarterback here, they just weren't able to get him the ball. Blaine Gabbert comes in the last 2 games. He hasn't been able to get him the ball. So expect some plays like this, some back screens, anything to get this speedster the opportunity to get some big yardage. Patrick Peterson, it looks like, will follow him around the field just like some of the other big corners have.
That was a first down, a 10-yard pickup as Drone carries a big hole. Drone tries to put a move on and gets a first down inside the 35 of the Cardinals. He ran into safety Rashad Johnson. That's never a good thing when the safety is waiting downfield.
Well, look at the tackle right here and the tight end. Watch the seal they get on the edge of this defense and allow Sean Drone to get this yardage. The block right there on the corner, Gerard Powers allows that play to get 15 yards. Good start for this San Francisco 49ers offense.
And officially a 19-yard pickup. First down 49ers, opening drive looking crisp. Gabbert rolling, throwing, and completing. That's Anquan Boldin inside the 30. Right to your read on the undrafted running back out of North Carolina who's been with 8 different teams. And Drone may have found a home here as they go without a huddle.
Hurry.
And brought down in the backfield by Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell with great penetration, but you were just mentioning Sean Drone. And as I look at this kid, finally getting his opportunity to get some meaningful snaps. He's been an every down player for here, and what impresses me is his power. He's a great receiver out of the backfield. Last week against that Seattle defense, he was really their only offense, and it was mostly out of the backfield.
And Drone as a receiver goes to the top of your screen after a loss of 4. An important third down here for Gabbert. Pressure coming. And he goes down. Marcus Golden, the rookie from Missouri, with the sack.
Well, I mentioned that they are not scared to blitz. They brought the entire house here. I mean, there's so many Cardinals in this backfield, but it's Marcus Golden, the rookie, that gets home. And Blaine Gabbert, again, cannot hold on to this football this long. He has to make quick decisions. He knows that this defense is going to put a lot of pressure on him.
Takes him out of field goal range. They were nearing that. Patrick Peterson, who will field punts in this area of the field, lets it go. And the 49ers with an excellent special teams play. Down it inside the 2-yard line. Jimmy Ward on the pinion punt. We'll see this Cardinal offense tested early, backed up in their own end zone. Bradley Barber, Chris Myers welcoming you back as Carson Palmer starts from the 1-yard line. 27 touchdown passes to lead the NFL. And giving it to Chris Johnson, who can only fall forward. Navarro Bowman already pointing out a few things for this Cardinal offense. 54 plays, 20 yards or more, which is best in the NFL. These are just some of the guys you'll see without their helmets. And on the offensive line, Lyle Senline in the middle, former 49er Mike Iupati, who had the meniscus surgery, battled a neck injury, but good to see him out there. After no gain, Fitzgerald with the catch, his 74th of the season, and that leads this Cardinal team. Tremaine Brock on the coverage. The 49ers up front with Glenn Dorsey out, as Rondé Barber mentioned in the open. And at linebacker, Navarro Bowman leads the NFC in tackles, played every defensive snap, and there were 80 of them last week in the loss to Seattle. Eric Reed, the veteran of that secondary.
They have to get off the field much better than they did last week, Chris. That was almost embarrassing watching this defense play. Need a lot more effort out of them. They got a backed up situation here. See if they can keep him down here.
Reed comes up, threatening blitz. He's coming in. Carson's throw. A juggling catch is made. And for the first down by Andre Ellington.
You know, these Arizona Cardinals do more of this type of protection, scat protection, so the back is not actually going to block Eric Reed. He's trying to get out in the pass route, and that's exactly where Carson Palmer is looking for there, and gets the ball for that first down.
Ellington goes back to the sideline. He's their third down back. Chris Johnson, the starter, and what a story he's been. His career revived back in mid-August with the Cardinals when they picked him up. Much like Drone with San Francisco, and here he's knocked backwards by that 49er defense. Bowman and Lynch from their linebacker spots.
That was a great job by Aaron Lynch there, getting off a block, tying up that running game, and then of course Navarro Bowman comes in and finishes him off. This defense, that is the start that this defense needs. Flying around, show some effort, give your team a chance to win here.
As much as the 49ers know Arizona throws the ball, they said they expect the Cardinals to come out and run like Seattle did versus the San Francisco defense last week. Chris Johnson on the run. And look at that surge as he gets up to the 20.
Well, how could you not? I mean, last week, whoever tried to put a body on Thomas Rawls just missed. It failed miserably. And you know, this defense, you talk about pride. You know, you're 3-7 on the year. You're not going to make the playoffs, but you got to play with a little bit of pride. The coaches have been preaching it all week. So yes, they're going to try to run the ball, see if they answer it.
Michael Floyd, all 6 receivers are up and healthy, active today for the Cardinals as Ellington is in the backfield. And here comes a flag on 3rd and 5.
False start. Number 84 offense, 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
You know, and as I'm looking at this up here, this San Francisco defense is in a much more aggressive posture. We've already seen 2 blitzes. They're showing at the line of scrimmage on that 3rd down. You know, Eric Mangini, the defensive coordinator, I think knows that you can't sit back and wait for this Cardinals offense to come at you. You have to attack them. See if they're able to stand up man-to-man when they bring this pressure, though.
Mangini said of his defense, we have to not only match the Cardinals' intensity, we have to exceed it. Palmer's throw, incomplete. J.J. Nelson had slipped in his turn, but the coverage was good, and it's 4th down. Brock all over him.
Yeah, not only good coverage, this was great coverage, Chris. Watch Tremaine Brock here on J.J. Nelson, who's just coming off a great game last week, and that ball was a little bit inside, but the coverage was there. They get off on 3rd down.
Drew Butler has settled in after a little bit of a shaky start as the team's punter. Bruce Ellington, no fair catch. Ball bounces around, looking into the sun, and there's a scramble for it. inside the 40. Now there are, and first down, Cardinals. An Arizona recovery on the Ellington muff punt.
Bruce Ellington is usually a sure-handed, but whenever he tries to pluck it out of the air with his hands instead of bringing that to his body, and then when that ball gets on the ground, it's anybody's game. You never know where it's going to end up. And one thing this 49ers team needed to avoid was turnovers, and they give up one right at the beginning of the game here.
And he was looking, this is not an excuse, but into the sun that may have figured. Alani Fua, the reserve linebacker, the rookie, came up with the loose football. And the early takeaway, a jump and field position for the Cardinals. Now at the 39. Carson Palmer, right on target. That's Michael Floyd.
Turnovers like that at the beginning of the game, Chris, are almost like a punch in the gut. I mean, your defense hasn't backed up. You get a stop. And in special teams, which really is the transition between offense and defense, all the other stuff, you expect that to be the solid part of this game, and then just to give them the ball back here on the plus side of the 50, that hurts you.
Especially against a hot-handed quarterback and the best offense in the NFL right now.
Yeah, like they needed more help, right?
14-yard pickup, 1st and 10 at the 25 of the Niners. Palmer with time, he's on the move now and throws incomplete. Just trying to get rid of it, he goes down. And Bowman got in there to apply some of the pressure. Cardinals at the top of that offensive ranking list, and that's why they're at the top of the division, and you see where the 49ers are.
We decided not to put 32 in there. It just last and last. It's a stark contrast between offenses here today.
But Blaine Gabbert has helped give hope to the 49er offense, and the defense has, again, played very well at home, giving up less than 14 points a game. Chris Johnson inside the 20. It'll bring up a 3rd down. Chris Johnson comes in now over 800 yards rushing. Has also shown the ability to block. In fact, he's picked up the offense faster than anyone who's come in here, according to the coaching staff.
Everybody we talked to about this offense mentioned how valuable Chris Johnson has been, how quickly he picked it up, yes, but just how much he's learned about playing this game. It's different now that he's here than some of the other places that he's been.
Stephon Taylor, the best blocker of the running backs, is in on 3rd and 4. Palmer protected. Pass was tipped, but still caught, but clamping down on Larry Fitzgerald, a couple of 49ers, to keep him from getting the 1st down.
Well, they're playing.
Where they spotted them.
Yeah, they're playing man-to-man coverage. This is Larry Fitzgerald. He's going to come in and kind of run a route like that. It gets kind of convoluted because of the coverage. But how about this catch? I mean, I can't believe Carson Palmer put that ball in there. They're able to get a first down completion.
Without a huddle, they give on 1st down to Taylor, who goes straight ahead. And it looked like Dante Johnson had his back turned. You saw number 36. If he had turned around, it was a ball he could have intercepted.
Well, this Cardinal offense, whenever they anticipate you being in a man-to-man situation, they're going to...
Oh, here comes a parade of flags. Looked like a machine firing those things out. And too many men. That's Pete Morelli.
With 12 players on defense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
So in the huddle, you can't do that. Pete Morelli is now the president of St. Mary's High School in nearby Stockton, California.
Well, if I could just finish that thought about the Cardinals offense, whenever they anticipate you being in man-to-man coverage, they're going to reduce the formation, put receivers on top of each other, and then make you kind of play it out later, and that's why they were able to convert that 1st down.
Well, how about having too many defensive players in a huddle? Is that because of Cardinal substitutions and all the receivers they trot out there?
I don't know what that was. The parade of flags there was pretty interesting.
Well, it hurt the 49ers. 3 tight ends in now on 2nd down and 3 for Carson Palmer. Chris Johnson knocked down at the 9. And again, it's Bowman. It'll be 3rd and short.
Navarro Bowman Again, making this play. He's going to come over from this side of the field and just shoot this gap on this side. Look how quickly he reacts and avoids the blocker, gets through that little gap and able to make that play. This guy is the definitive leader on this 49ers defense. He's not 100% back from that knee injury still. I know I've seen him play up and down, but he's able to make plays like that all over the field. He's a valuable piece of this defense.
Yeah, and Rondé, we saw kind of a late offensive substitution, and then the defense was waiting to change, and I think that's what Jim Tomsula is pointing out over on the 49ers sideline.
Well, if the Cardinals substitute,
they might be checking.
The 49ers are able to substitute as well, and it's hard to determine what this discussion is right now. And hopefully we'll get some clarity from Pete Morelli here.
And it looked like Jim Tomsula was questioning the down, saying it should be fourth.
The correct down should be 2nd down and 3 to go.
No, we think it should be 3rd down. It should be 3rd down and 3. Tomsula was saying 4th down. So now we have different versions, and we can go back and count them for you if we need to. They gave Larry Fitzgerald the 1st down catch. I shouldn't say gave it. He made the catch. They gave him 1st down on that. And then the Cardinals ran the football straight ahead in a hurry.
Yes, and then the next play, Navarro Bowman made the tackle. So this is 3rd down because it was 1st down after the Larry Fitzgerald catch.
So this was the run on 2nd down and 3. So now it's 3rd down.
Well, there's confusion here because people in the stands were wanting to get a measurement on that Larry Fitzgerald catch, but they had already given them
the field to be 3rd down.
They had already given them the 1st down. Arizona ran a quick play on what was their 1st down, and then the 2nd down play we just saw, and so it is 3rd down. They got it right.
Well, we had it right. They initially didn't have it right, and the penalty was a dead ball foul.
Chris, we're never wrong. So.
Well, I'm not going to say that. It happens every week. We make some mistake, and we all make mistakes, but that's pretty basic there. That's what Bruce Arians is saying. Come on, we got a lot of. He said, wait till we get to what's a catch and what's not a catch. You think this is an issue?
Let's hope we don't.
And I don't know how Coach Tomsula thought it was 4th down. Maybe he thought initially that catch by Fitzgerald was not a 1st down, but they clearly moved the chains and put the 1st down marker up. Let's bring in Mike Pereira, our rules analyst, who always watches for us. Mike, what do you see?
Well, I mean, I think it's 3rd down. I mean, you've got
that's pretty basic.
Down reception. I mean, I don't get all the confusion here. There's been a lot of conferences during the course of the day today, but you've got a running play, a penalty that keeps it 2nd down. Then you have the 3rd down play, so it's 3rd down. I just think someone somewhere lost track of what it was, but they are getting it right finally.
Ultimately, 1st down, finally. Right? We had a 2-yard run, the 5-yard penalty, and 0 gain. So it is 3rd and 3. 3 receivers to the left. They've got 2 on the right. Ellington has one of those receivers for Carson Palmer.
This is the longest down discussion I think I've ever seen.
I think somebody is so upset they've turned off his microphone, but no, he's talking to the replay officials upstairs who also help to keep track of this. We had our rules analyst back at the Fox Network Center, Mike Pereira, count, and it is 3rd down. Wow.
Yeah, let's play some football.
Meanwhile, can the 49ers keep Palmer and the Cardinals from the 1st down or the end zone? Threatening pressure. Here it comes. Pass is loose, end zone, and through the hands of Larry Fitzgerald. Would have been a tough catch.
Larry Fitzgerald on Jimmy Ward is going to be a matchup to watch all day today. Jimmy Ward does a good job staying in the fight in this route right here and affecting this down the ball. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald did not catch it, but he had some nice coverage there by Jimmy Ward.
And only one drop of Fitzgerald this season. Not that that was a drop, but that's how good the 32-year-old receiver has been when the ball gets near his hands. 26-yard field goal attempt. Chandler Canzero delivers. And the Cardinals drive stalls, but after the turnover, Arizona gets 3. Chandler Canzero now 19 of 21 in the field goal department. 54% of his kickoffs have been touchbacks. There's Bruce Ellington hoping to atone that tough fumble on the punt. Set the Cardinals up. The 49er defense took a tough stand as Ellington comes out of the end zone. And he's hit hard as he goes across the 16-yard line. Troy Nicholas, one of the tight ends and special teams players, delivering the hit. NFC West rivals clashing. 49ers on offense. Confusion moments ago on the downs. Here's one of the officials here at today's game. You see the band around the finger to show, and that's Sarah Thomas. This is how the officials in each one of these, not just the referee, they keep track of the downs every time there's a snap of a football. And that's why there shouldn't have been any confusion. Eventually they got it right. That's all that matters at the end of the day as Drone takes the pitch and fights upfield for a yard or two.
I kind of dig the old school tech there, too.
Yeah, with all the modern technology we have an injured player on that 49er offense, Garrett Selleck, being helped up if he can get up. He's been one of the targets since Blaine Gabbert has taken over as the starter, and a couple of touchdown catches in that win over Atlanta.
And I think he just gets rolled up on here, Chris, and you'll see him right here on your screen blocking Witherspoon. And as this play comes out, this happens almost every single play. It looks like it's on his ankle. We'll have to check on it.
Garrett Selleck on the cart being taken away. Jen Hale will check on his injury. We'll get an update from her in a bit. But let's get an update on some other games with Mike Hill. Mike?
Hey guys, Giants nearly came back from 20 down against the Redskins thanks to part of the ODB. Another beautiful catch. That one of the 21-yard variety, but the Redskins hold on 20-14. They're in first place in the NFC East. Chris, Ronnie, back to you.
That is absolutely amazing as Gabbert on second down is going to keep. And Gabbert looks like he has enough to get the first down. Gabbert, one of the fastest quarterbacks who has been tracked running this year, believe it or not.
Well, he was forced to bring this down because watch this matchup right here. Patrick Peterson, who in my opinion right now is playing the best corner in football, just has Torrey Smith completely locked down. That's where Blaine Gabbert was looking for. And when that coverage was gone, he just took off with the ball.
A pickup of 11. Sean Drone gets across the 30-yard line. Vance McDonald, the tight end, with Selleck out, but that also brings number 84, Blake Bell, into the picture, the fourth-round draft choice from Oklahoma, who at one time, Rondé, was a quarterback.
Yeah, and without Garrett Selleck, who has really come on for this 49ers offense here after the Vernon Davis trade, that's a big loss. Blake Bell is going to have a big shoulders to fill this week now.
And no points, no touchdowns, I should say, in the opening quarter as they use a little reverse to Quentin Patton. And short of the first down, 49er offense slow starting this year, no matter who the quarterback has been.
Well, it's nice to just see them open this up a little bit, find ways to get Quentin Patton involved. He's really taken over as this third wide receiver in this offense and need to see more touches from him. He's got some dynamicism to him. Could be a good route runner. See how much more creative they get with him during the day.
3rd and 3, their opening drive. They were moving along until a loss of yardage and then pushed by a sack out of field goal range. Gabbert floats one, and it's intercepted. It's Tyrann Mathieu. with his 4th pick of the season.
Yeah, man, be careful what you wish for when you're going against Tyrann Mathieu. But Honey Badger's right here, I'm sorry. And it's a bunch stack, and he's beaten originally, but he's such a ball-aware player, makes a great interception.
Smile from Tyrann Mathieu, trying to go to Quentin Patton, and he turned and picked off Gabbert. 2 takeaways already for the Cardinals here.
And Blaine Gabbert just didn't have enough on that ball. If he puts it out in the way, that could have been a completion, a big play for him.
Chris Johnson with the carry and knocked down right away. Coming up from the corner, Tremaine Brock with the tackle.
That was a great tackle by Tremaine Brock. Chris Johnson still has some breakaway speed. He's a guy that loves to bounce the football to the outside. Almost every play that's supposed to hit inside, you see him wanting to get to the corner, and he sometimes tries to do too much because he's gotten away with it so much early in his career. A good play by the Niners corner there.
David Johnson, the rookie from Northern Iowa, in the backfield. And now splits out as a receiver. Empty backfield. And here comes a flag. One of the Cardinals jumped.
False start, number 85 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
This David Johnson kid is an interesting guy now. He's 7 different touchdowns, 3 receiving, 3 rushing, 1 on a kick return. He's a really versatile guy, and I think, this coaching staff is in love with him. Put him out of the backfield. I guarantee you that was some sort of isolation route on a linebacker or safety out there. He's been tough to deal with all season.
Penalty backs him up. 2nd and 13 from the 45-yard line of the 49ers. Chris Johnson comes back in. Looks like we have a timeout.
Timeout, Arizona.
Right now, the 49ers athletic training staff is evaluating tight end Garrett Selleck for an ankle injury. He's questionable pending those test results. He was carted back into the locker room. Trainers were keeping that left leg immobile and straight. So, Chris, certainly the 49ers can't afford and don't want to lose any more offensive weapons today.
Thank you, Jen. And that string of no touchdowns in the opening quarter continues. Cardinals looking for one with 50 seconds to go. 2nd and 13 for Palmer, right on target. Fitzgerald sliding to the 35.
Well, for the Cardinals' sake here, I mean, this is another slow start for them. Last week Carson Palmer had the 2 interceptions early in the football game. Today, they've had 3 drives and have only got 3 points on the board. So for their standards, I think this is a slow start as well.
But in the 2nd quarter, they've scored the most points of any team in any quarter in the NFL this year, 114. So they may start a bit slow and give the defense a little bit of credit. But they can pile it on, as the totals will tell you, the highest scoring team in the NFL. On 3rd and 3. Catch made, good enough for the first down. It's Fitzgerald to end the opening quarter. A couple of takeaways for the Cardinals, but only a field goal. And after one, they lead the 49ers 3-0. Riley Barber, Chris Myers, Jen Hale from Santa Clara, California. Start of the 2nd quarter. It's only 3-0. I say only because the Cardinals come in averaging almost 34 points a game. On first down from inside the 30 at San Francisco. Palmer to Fitzgerald. Larry's been busy. Catch made. Let's go back to the penalty on that series of downs. Too many defensive players on the field for San Francisco.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's another one under there. 13 players on the field. So in fact, they really messed up this call. This should have been, Pete Morelli's crew should have gave them a 1st and 5 because that penalty was on that first down snap.
And Arians wanted a 2nd down and actually would have been correct based whether it's a dead ball. And we'll have Mike Pereira's thoughts on that in just a moment here, just so that we're all clear on 2nd and 2. Go ahead, Mike Pereira.
Yeah, and really talking about the play, they enforced it as a dead ball foul. So the flags came late, and you could see the way they enforced it. that they rolled it over to the next down as a dead ball foul. Now, when you look at it technically, it really has to be a live ball foul because of the fact that, you know, the snap wasn't imminent, so there's really no restrictions on the defense at that point. But when they got together, they enforced it as a dead ball foul. But I think when they look at that, they'll realize should have been a live ball foul, not a dead ball foul.
Thank you. Hope that clarifies as Chris Johnson carries. I think I might be a little more confused, but the bottom line was that the 49er defense was able to keep the Cardinals from scoring a touchdown.
Well, I'll admit we were wrong. Sorry. I didn't see the 13 guys on the field.
Well, no, the confusion, I think, came from where you and Mike Pereira pointed out, whether it's a dead ball foul, you're
yes.
calling it that, or whether, and we have to go by what the official rules in that case.
Well, and Arizona is really some gamesmanship here, running on substitutions late, and so the San Francisco defense is having to match those substitutions late. You can just tell there's some confusion on this sideline down here for San Fran.
And we may see that theme throughout the game as Palmer still has it and gets rid of it.
Well, these guys are complaining that Andre Ellington got held coming out of the backfield on this screen, and Andre Ellington's right here. He's going to kind of sit in here, wait for this screen, and Carson Palmer does his little play fake, the reverse, and Andre Ellington goes down over that pile, and Carson Palmer has to spike it into him. You know Bruce Arians is calling for a penalty flag there, affecting his receiver.
On 3rd and 7. 49er defense on the spot again.
Check out this bunch route up top. That's where the routes usually come from.
Palmer looks that way, throws that way, and the catch was the inbounds. There's a couple of flags flying for John Brown, who made the catch. He went out of bounds.
This is going to be illegal touching because John Brown went out of bounds, was the first person to touch the football when he came back in. So this will be a penalty on Arizona. You see the official here without his hat on.
We got an illegal touch of a pass by number 12 of the offense.
Well, you got that one right, Rodney.
Yeah, you know, I know. I played this game for a little while. But you know when the official's hat comes off, it's when a player is out of bounds. An offensive player is out of bounds. You'll see it here down the bottom of your screen. Out of bounds. First person to touch it inbounds, penalty. And here's the route. You see John Brown there at the bottom of the screen, out and up, and he's little contact, pushes him out of bounds, and Tremaine Brock is exactly right. That is an incomplete pass. Well, now if he would have stayed out of bounds and caught that ball, there is no penalty.
Right, but coming back in to catch it. So they have a decision. It's fourth down. I say very carefully. And the penalty, you end up declining it so that it is now 4th down. And here comes Chandler Catanzaro, who made earlier from 26. There we go. Show the down marker, and we'll all follow along. Our director, Michael Frank, with producer Mike Burks. And our rules analyst, Mike Pereira, watching closely every game.
Ruling on the field that the illegal touching, it was caught, so the 5-yard foul must be enforced. Still 3rd down.
All right, Mike, explain that one to us.
I tell you, I don't know what to say anymore. First of all, it's not. It's not an illegal touch. It's not an illegal touch because he didn't reestablish back in pounds. So it's just, he only got 1 foot down of bounds, so it's really just an incomplete pass. And that they're going to have to take a look at in replay. I hope they take a look at this
before
in replay, because it's an incomplete pass and would make it 4th down, which is going to make everything look more confusing. But we'll see if we get the challenge.
This isn't challengeable, right? Or is it?
Yes, it is.
It is challengeable. So it's something
challenge.
Okay, well, that's something Jim Tomsula may want to throw the challenge flag on, because if the Cardinals reach the end zone, it's a big swing. Here comes
delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Now he can still challenge. Arians is frustrated. Wanted the snap of that football. Too late to challenge now. But it's 3rd and 17.
Could have challenged before that snap. Now that there's been another executed play, that penalty, that challenge opportunity is gone for San Francisco. And I'm sure they didn't know the rule. It needs to be listening to the broadcast because we clearly stated it.
Palmer. Almost. I was ready to say intercepted, but it went through the hands of Tremaine Brock, standing in the end zone waiting for the football.
And this side of the field too, Chris, when I was down there, you could see the rays coming off our camera right there, but he just completely takes his eyes off this ball, and that's inexcusable. Tremaine Brock leads this team with 3 interceptions. You don't get many more easier than that. That's frustrating, not only for him, but for the coaching staff. You would have taken 3 points, or the opportunity for 3 points, off the board.
Well, still an impressive defensive stand from the 49ers. So from 41 yards away, Chandler Catanzaro delivers 2 for 2 today. And the Cardinals with a 6-0 advantage. Cardinals ready to kick off. Rhonda, you played special teams. They even have plays designed for kickoffs.
Oh, yeah. They don't always work.
You don't just run around out there and try to
they're drawn up.
Tackle somebody. And Catanzaro will kick off after 2 for 2 field goals. Back to receive for San Francisco is Bruce Ellington. Here he goes from the 4-yard line. Out across the 20. Well, if you saw the Fox pregame show, you saw Mike Pereira talking to the guys about officiating this year, how difficult it's been with rules, interpretation, of course, instant replay. As fans, as broadcasters, we watch. As players, Rondé, regardless of the call, you got to play through it.
You absolutely do, and you could keep these things moving forward. I mean, it's not easy. The human element involved in officiating is sometimes dismissed because of all the replays and all the things we get to see in slow motion, but from time to time, they're going to be wrong, and just got to keep moving forward. The rest of the game has to play, and hopefully it doesn't come back up again.
Pass by Gabbert for the first down. And Quan Bolden moving close to 500 yards again this season. It would be his 12th straight season when he surpasses that. And remember, the first 7 years of his career, he was a member of the Cardinals.
That should be a good connection for this Niners offense. Blaine Gabbert has a lot of trust in Anquan Bolden just playing with him in one game.
Sean Drone gets up to the 37-yard line. Would you like to see, and you've seen Gabbert in his last 2 starts, try and get the ball downfield more?
I really would. You know, last week in that Seattle game, yes, he was efficient. He threw for 264 yards or whatever, but he didn't take any opportunities. I thought they had an opportunity in that game to get back in it, and they were just too safe with the football. He relies a lot on the check down when he gets under pressure, but I think he's good enough. I think his arm is good enough to push it down the field.
He's on the rollout here, and incomplete. Trying to get it to his tight end, Vance McDonald. Again, you heard the injury report on Selleck, so a little thin in that area in this game, but now it's 3rd and 9. Comes a flag.
False start, number 82 offense, 5-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
And that's against Torrey Smith.
I wonder how wide receivers get false start penalties.
Yes, I do wonder that.
I mean, he's outside of the formation.
Well, are they looking at the ball? Are they listening for a signal? They looking at the defender?
They should not be listening to the count, the call of the quarterback. Should be looking at the ball. It backs them up to now 3rd and 14.
And that string of no touchdowns in the opening quarter continues for the 49ers. Offensive problems, and they have to use a timeout on 3rd and 14. After the 49er timeout, now 3rd down, 14. underneath the Drone, who will be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be 4th down. So the punting unit for the 49ers comes out. Some of the scores from earlier today: the Chiefs at home over Buffalo, Kansas City making a playoff run, the Jets back in the win column, a tough defeat for the Dolphins. The Raiders win in Nashville, some sloppy weather down there, and the Chargers outscore Jacksonville. Patrick Peterson drops back to return the punt of the rookie Bradley Pinion. And at the 11-minute mark of the second quarter, Peterson has it on the run. Slips a tackle and gets up to the 41-yard line. Patrick Peterson, congratulations. His wife, baby girl on Thanksgiving night, welcoming Peyton to the world. Fans watching a low-scoring matchup here in the NFC West as the Cardinals, with Chris Johnson in the backfield, a couple of field goals, take over at their own 41-yard line. Carson Palmer going deep down the middle and caught by John Brown. Missed some practice time this week with a hamstring injury, but 40 catches and 4 touchdowns coming into this game.
Well, talking to the coaches prior to this game, this was the type of game that John Brown, I think, they're expecting him to explode in. He'll have some of the favorable matchups against this Niners secondary. See him being covered by Jimmy Ward here.
After a gain of 20, it's Chris Johnson into the crowd. This 49er defense off of last week, and Jim Tomsula said, Ronde, the first thing we did to start the week was presented the facts in the opening meeting about how they had to improve.
Well, the facts are that they missed a whole bunch of tackles last week, and when I watched the film, there was a whole bunch of hustle plays that were not happening for this defense. They were not getting to the football. But today, I got to give them credit, man. It came out, they're playing fast. You could tell there's some energy on this 49ers defense today.
And they were on the field for 80 plays.
That's a lot of snaps.
After reviewing the film of that Seattle game. Any defense will wear down. Quick pass to John Brown. Gets a block, slips a tackle, gets near a first down.
Let's go, tackle.
Carson Palmer does a great job in these situations. The box count was not right for him. Eric Reed came down late, put him in there. It's going to be a run to that side. He just picks up and throws to John Brown and gets 8 yards.
Carson Palmer said, too, during the week, I kind of reminded guys about starting faster because they hadn't won at 49ers home stadium since, as he said, his children were born. It's been since 2008. And did not want to fall into a trap game situation. And as Bruce Arians said, we have too much at stake for that to happen. On 3rd and 1, Chris Johnson. And the 49er defense playing some inspired football, led by Aaron Lynch and Ian Williams.
Well, Larry Fitzgerald usually gets into that position, and you know they're going to run right behind there. And Carson Palmer in this offense is staying out on the field here. But again, good energy by this 49ers defense. You knew it was going to be a run. Bunch of guys plowing into that gap. And here's what you love about Bruce Arians as a head coach.
Now they've only gone for it on 4th down 5 times this year, fewest of any team in the league. They've made it 3. 2 running backs are in. It's Chris Johnson and David Johnson. And Palmer to throw. Floats one. Knocked away. He was trying to go to David Johnson, but there was Eric Reed. And the 49er defense on 4th down comes through.
Like I said, David Johnson is the matchup that they like, but Eric Reed playing that middle safety. Wow, nice play. Gets his hands on that football and just rips it out of the hands of number 31 there. Again, good stop by this Niners defense again.
From the 31-yard line, field position. Let's see if Gabbert and this offense can take advantage. Drone will lose a yard. Tyrann Mathieu has an interception in this game coming up to make the play. And interesting story on him on the pregame show, talking about his comeback. And Mathieu, a guy kicked out of high school. And Bruce Arians told us that when he first talked to him, Arians told his personal story when Bruce Arians was kicked out of high school. And Told him you can turn your life around.
He definitely has. And you ask them, he's the face of this franchise. Of course, it's Larry Fitzgerald. It's becoming Tyrann Mathieu. This 49ers offense, to me, I mean, your defense is playing well today. This is the most explosive offense in football right now. They've held them to 6 points. They got to take some of that energy, Chris, and turn it into first downs on this side of the ball. Get this crowd into this football game. But right now it's conservative. They haven't had any big plays. See if they can convert a third down here and get a drive going.
0 for 3 on third down. That's where they are here in need 8. Gabbert juggled by Patton and incomplete. And that wouldn't have been enough for the first down anyway. Again, Mathieu on the play.
Well, here's one of the problems I have with playing Gabbert, and it's this. You get opportunities to convert third down.
And the fans are booing here.
He's so quick to get the ball out of his hands and throw checkdowns. Of course, there's going to be some pressure. But you got 3rd and 7. You want to, or 3rd and 8. I'm sorry. You want to move the sticks. He's got to take the time, go through the progressions, wait for somebody to come open and get a throw. But instead, he throws underneath. It wasn't going to be a first down. And again, they're punting to the Arizona Cardinals.
Patrick Peterson waiting for the Bradley Binion punt. And steps out of bounds. Cardinals on defense led by Tyrann Mathieu, who has a pick and a tough hit. Cardinals on offense. Jim Tomsula consoling Anquan Bolden, who was really upset over on that 49er sideline run. A lot of it has to do with what you were just talking about in that San Francisco offense. But now it's the Cardinals on offense. And Palmer, who failed on a 4th and 1 pass, has a catch here short of the first down. And Andre Ellington hauls it in.
Well, this offense, in my mind, needs to get going here. They trying a bunch of different things to get some explosive plays in this offense. And you know that Bruce Arians is going to take some chunk opportunities. He told us yesterday that you cannot play football in the NFL anymore and not take chunk opportunities. So expect him to air this thing out here in one of these downs, see if they can get another 20-plus yard play.
On 2nd and 2, Arians saying you don't nickel and dime your way through the NFL today. Palmer with a dime right there for a first down to Ellington.
And this offense only has 16 sacks on the year. And it's because of plays like this by Carson Palmer. There's a free blitzer coming right into his face. And he knows that he's the one responsible to get this ball out of his hands. He's not going to try to look for a second read. He knows there's somebody involved. And it's Andre Ellington on this play and able to convert a first down.
Palmer said, I got to get rid of it quick. Can't worry about stats, but I can't take a sack. Andre Ellington turns the corner. Gets up near the 40-yard line, just short of that. Eric Mangini, the defensive coordinator you talked about, is upstairs for the first time with this 49er group. It's something he has done before, but he switched, just said it would give him a little bit of a better view. Remember, on those Microsoft tablets you look at, there's still photos on the sidelines, not moving video, so he gets a better look at the action as Ellington carries.
You know, and I think his team has really stepped up because of that. I don't know if that's the reason that they're playing better today. But when you are upstairs, you get a sense. Of course, he's going to have to relay down to somebody on the sideline to give him the calls, but you get a much better perspective. Whatever the change is on this defense, it's substantial over last week. There was 100-plus yards rushing at this point in the game last week, and today they have the Cardinals at 32 yards.
And a 3rd and 1. Couldn't convert last time in this spot. Ellington. Another great defensive play. And Michael Wilhoit, who had some problems last week.
Watch Michael Wilhoit run through this gap untouched and make a great tackle in the backfield. Again, 49ers defense responding to the challenge. Arizona continues to try to run the football. And they said, you know what, this is not last week. got to give him credit again.
Will Hoyt with the big stop. Bruce Ellington lets it go. And a wise move. It took a bounce into the end zone. Touchback, so the offense will save 10 to 15 yards. Saturday, 2 college basketball's top rivals face off on Fox. Syracuse and Georgetown, a game that'll have a lot of emotion and intensity and passion, the kind of thing you always see in college basketball. Saturday at 12:30 Eastern, that's 9:30 Pacific on Fox. The 49er defense, as they have done all season long at home, playing some outstanding football. See how this offense, with 3:42 to go in the half, handles the 6-0 deficit. Gabbert completes. McDonald, and Vance has a flag. 2 flags flies. Vance McDonald gets up across the 30.
Well, I was just getting ready to compliment Anquan Bolden on an outstanding block, and then 2 flags come in. This is going to be a hold on number 81.
Holding. Number 81 offense. 10-yard penalty remains first down.
A good play by Blaine Gabbert, creating something out of this broken down play, but Anquan Bolden got a little too friendly with the defender there, and they threw a flag on him.
Taking out some of that frustration on the opposition in the worst manner, because it negates what would have been a 10-yard gain. Now it's 1st and 15. Quick pass. Not going to gain much to Bolden. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee of the Seahawks. Kurt?
Well, after Pittsburgh went for a fake field goal and had it intercepted with the lead, Seattle came right back down the field and scored a touchdown and a 16-yard pass from Russell Wilson to Doug Baldwin for a 7-3 lead. Chris?
All right, Kurt without a huddle. Pass complete. Vance McDonald falls for the first down. 49er offense on the move. Remember, they were crushed up in Seattle, this team, last week. And now get the top team in the NFC West.
Finally see him throw the ball down the field. This is just going to be a little in route. Love how Blaine Gabbert delivers the football. It's on time there. Nice collision, first down.
Without a huddle, Gabbert gets away, completes. That's Bolden with the football. And Anquan Bolden with a first down to the 48.
Another great job by Blaine Gabbert escaping pressure. Yeah, you can question a lot of things about him, but his athleticism, his toughness, and his ability to keep his eyes down the field is a huge improvement for this offense.
15-yard gain and the 2-minute warning. Cardinals lead 6-0, but the 49ers on the move at the 2-minute mark. You can get apps, videos, and a lot more at itunes.com/NFL. Blaine Gabbert last week in an up-tempo hurry-up got a touchdown before the half in Seattle. Going deep for Quentin Patton. With one hand on it, it's incomplete. Gerard Powers, who some teams have picked on, Rondé, was there on the coverage.
A lot of teams have picked on Gerard Powers. When you look at that Arizona secondary, he's the one guy that just is not playing up to par with those other ones. But this is good coverage here. Ball is a little out of the hands of Patton there.
Watch him. Charlie.
2 timeouts for each team.
Look, right here.
Delayed pressure, pass is high and incomplete. Trying to go to Jerome Simpson. We have not called his name much today. Torrey Smith has 1 catch. Bolden with 4 catches. But no big numbers for this 49er offense, and nothing on the scoreboard. Now 3rd and 10.
Yeah. Start. Monday. You got who? Yeah. Lou.
Pass is caught by Blake Bell. He's short of the first down as Tony Jefferson kept him from getting to the 42. And this looks like a situation where the 49ers are going to go for it. See where the spot is. It looks like it's A long 2.
They must have came into that play knowing that this was 4-down territory. That's the only reason I can imagine that Blaine Gabbert threw that ball short and underneath.
And planning, because they didn't use a timeout to discuss it. There's the completion, and that looks like he got the first down. Sean Drone got it, and Tom Sula has the team on the move.
And again, you talk about scat protection. When the back comes out of the backfield, there's a free blitzer at the quarterback. He's the number 1 read, and that's who Blaine Gabbert gets the ball to there for that first down.
A quick snap, and there's a whistle there, maybe too quick. Flag is down.
I think they're asking, this is an offensive penalty. They're going to either have to take a timeout or get a 10-second runoff.
False start, number 82 offense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down. By rule, under a minute with the game clock running requires a 10-second runoff. However, San Francisco is elected to take a timeout. Timeout, San Francisco second, team timeout.
Let's check in back in Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on your Visa halftime show, I will catch you up on all the highlights around the NFL.
And then TB, it's a beautiful day outside. Let's go play some golf. You ready for that lesson?
Serious?
Yeah,
Come on.
You know, we've got to do the halftime show.
Yeah.
Howie can do them.
I guess Howie and Michael and I will be here for the Visa halftime with Jimmy.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Good to see the Shark, Greg Norman, part of our golf coverage with Joe Buck, Holly Saunders, the U.S. Open. Now 1st and 15, still 57 seconds left, but you heard the explanation, 1 timeout. Patton in motion. He gets the football and has to fight to get to the 45 with the clock running.
Tyrann Mathieu completely destroyed that play again. He's such an active player. He's in the backfield almost immediately and destroyed that little gadget play.
Quick snap on 2nd and 14. Patton, it's a little high. He was open. Gabbert missed him. And now it's 3rd down.
Still well out of field goal range here. You wonder, with 37 seconds, if this is 4-down territory. I imagine, I'm sure it is. Really not much of a question. Got to get points on the board. Last week they were able to get some momentum. Then it carried over to the second half. So I expect 2 downs here.
Gabbert goes underneath. It's Bolden inside the 35, and there's Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, with him. And they didn't get the first down. The clock's running, and Gabbert saying, what are we doing here? We call it a timeout and kick it a field goal, because a field goal from this point would be 50 plus.
That completion is going to end up being, I think, enough to at least give Phil Dawson a chance. And they'll let this go down to about 5 seconds and call timeout.
Timeout, San Francisco, 3rd and final team timeout.
49ers used that last timeout. Maybe that was the thought process for Phil Dawson. At age 40, has made a string of field goals.
He's been their offensive MVP. They haven't scored a lot of touchdowns around here.
You never want your kicker to be the offensive MVP. His season long is 54. His career long is 56 yards, and this will be right in between that with 4 seconds remaining, assuming Phil Dawson can deliver. Remember, he suffered a block kick on his first of the year against the Vikings. That was in week 1 of victory here in the same uniforms by the Niners, but he's been perfect since with 16 straight, and this will be from 53 to get the 49ers on the board. The rookie's the holder, Bradley Pinion. Phil Dawson from 53, and you got it. A spark for the 49ers to end the first half. Bruce Arians' Cardinals holding a narrow lead. The Cardinals will receive the ball to start the second half. Let's head to the Visa halftime report. It's been a meeting of suffocating defenses in this NFC West clash that the Cardinals lead 6-3. In a battle of field goals. 6 points in the first half, the fewest for Arizona this season. David Johnson back to receive the highest scoring offense in the NFL this year. Kept out of the end zone. But they'll get the football to start the second half as Johnson brings it out across the 20 and gets up near the 25. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. And most of the excitement has come on defense. An inspired 49er team at home where they have played well defensively this season and actually have a winning record up against the team that has scored more points than anyone else coming into this weekend. And that's today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. Carson Palmer, just one pass of 20 yards, nothing beyond that. Biggest play for either team in the first half, and that's an area where this Cardinal offense leads the NFL by far in big plays, 20 yards or more. Chris Johnson with the football. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, and glad to have you watching the NFL on Fox from Santa Clara. So how have the 49ers, Rondé, been able to do it? Keep the Cardinals out of the end zone and no big plays.
Well, you can tell that Arizona's priority today is to run the football. And obviously after watching that film last week of Seattle, you don't blame them. But I think the 49ers are doing a great job populating the box, having a guy in there and bringing pressure. Whatever the change has been on this 49er defense, we know that Eric Mangini went upstairs. He's got a better perspective, but they're definitely a much more aggressive unit this week than they were last.
And after an offside call against the 49ers, it sets up a 1st and 5 for Arizona. Carson Palmer airing it out deep. John Brown has it inside the 25. And there's the biggest play of the day.
Well, Tremaine Brock had plenty of time to play this football, and he allows John Brown, who is all of about 5'10", to get on this football more than he can. Look at, he's tracking this football. He just isn't able to redirect and make a play. And Eric Mangini told us the other day, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable playing against the Cardinals offense, because at times they're just going to launch it down the field and say our athletes are better than yours, and it showed right there.
A gain of 48, the aggressive nature of head coach Bruce Arians, who calls the plays. Palmer, like he had his arm hit, ball tipped. And that'll be a 2nd down 10. Let's head back down to the field and Jennifer.
Well, Chris, what a defensive turnaround for this 49er squad. Jim Tom Sula much happier with his unit, the way they're aggressively tackling and executing. Meanwhile, Bruce Arians gave his O-line an earful at halftime. Very upset at how they were executing in the red zone and also in 3rd and 1 situations. He says that's the reason you haven't seen explosive plays. He wants to see more like the one we just watched, Chris.
Yeah, and Jennifer, they failed in both of those 3rd and 1, then even the 4th and short when they put the ball in the air. Now 2nd and 10, but in striking distance. And there's Larry Fitzgerald with the catch. And that is his 6th of this game. And this is quite a contrast in the meeting back in September in Arizona when the Cardinals won 47-7.
Well, the first 2 passes of that game were intercepted for touchdowns from Colin Kaepernick, and that really set the tone for this football game earlier in week 3. But today, defense is much more sound. The offense for the 49ers protecting the football, so the fields aren't as short. But give them credit. The 49ers defense, they're holding a really good offense in check today.
3rd down and 3. Extra pressure is picked up. Carson Palmer has an open target. It's John Brown again, who has a 1st and goal for the Cardinals. Palmer, who leads the NFL in touchdown passes with 27, has yet to complete one of those in the end zone today.
See this all the time in this Cardinals offense, this bunch, and you're going to have in and out coverage by the 49ers secondary, and you can see Ken Acker right there on the outside, number 20, has his responsibility on John Brown. He's confused because of the bunch, doesn't cover up his man, easy throw and catch.
On first and goal, that's 4 catches for 88 yards, John Brown today. Ellington the back. Palmer to throw. End zone, Fitzgerald in the sunlight and incomplete with a flag. Jimmy Ward was back there.
Well, this is the second time we've seen this exact play. Larry Fitzgerald in the slot.
Pass interference, number 25, defense. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be spotted at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Well, here's what's going to happen here. Larry Fitzgerald's in the slot. He's run here. This guy sits down, and he got all that sideline to work with. And Carson Palmer puts a pretty good ball in here, but that's clearly pass interference. He's not looking for the ball, and he affects Fitzgerald's ability to get up and try to make a play on it.
Extra lineman in on first and goal. Andre Ellington spins out of a tackle, but knocked backwards. That's Chris Johnson, excuse me. Looked like he was going to slip a tackle, but an excellent defensive play by Tart.
Mike Purcell, number 64. Watch this penetration right here. Completely destroys this play. There's nowhere for him to go. Misses, makes the guard miss, Upati, and then Tank Carradine and Jaquaski Tart come in and finish it off. Nice stop there by the 49ers defense.
A loss of 3. Johnson on 11 carries, just 18 yards. Now Ellington is in the game. Palmer, incomplete, and no flags. And it looks like a late flag in the corner of the end zone. Away from where the pass.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 25, 26, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Brock called for the infraction.
They make them undress the defense. They know they're playing man-to-man, and here's where the penalty comes. See his left hand, looks like gets up into the face mask of the receiver there, and I think that was the right call.
That was Michael Floyd on that
Michael
side.
Floyd. I couldn't see who the receiver was.
Even though the ball went in a different direction, but that's maybe why Carson Palmer did. Now Palmer splits out as a receiver. This looks like a wildcat with Stanton taking the snap, the backup quarterback. And the handoff to Chris Johnson. There's a lot going on for very little.
I've seen a lot of trick plays in my life.
Well, that one wasn't tricky enough, but I like that Bruce Arians said, what did he tell us, Rondé, when we met with him last night? He said, being a head coach is boring. Being a play caller is fun.
Yeah, well, I don't exactly know what you're going to get from Carson Palmer standing out behind the line of scrimmage right there. I'm not going to question Bruce Arians' play calling because he is one heck of an offensive coach. And there's Chris Johnson limping off the field after that last run. Again, look at this defense. It's undressed right here. He knows that they're in man-to-man coverage down here at the bottom of the screen.
Remember, he said he runs a play to set up a play. Palmer, end zone, incomplete. And what Arians said, if I can't call the play, I quit. Well, he'll have to call a good one here on third and goal.
A little miscommunication there from Carson Palmer and Andre Ellington. He expected him to keep working in towards the end zone. That ball was going to him right away. He had the isolation that he wanted. He knew they were in man coverage. And Andre Ellington stopped.
And if you're the 49er defense, and they played so well today, 11 different offensive players have a touchdown for the Cardinals this year. Where do you focus your energy?
I'm focusing it on this guy right here, Larry Fitzgerald.
Carson Palmer in the area, and that's a flag. He was trying to go to Fitzgerald. Third penalty on this defense since they've been inside the 10.
Eric Mangini's continued to stay aggressive here. That was an all-out blitz. 5 eligible receivers.
Pass interference, number 35, defense. Ball will be placed at the 1-yard line, automatic first down.
Reed called for this one.
5 eligible receivers. There's 6. This is Eric Reed right here on Larry Fitzgerald. We used to call this bonsai. You're selling out. That's definitely illegal contact. The ball is in the air. It's the right call.
A fresh set of downs for the Cardinals. 3 tight ends in. First and goal from the 1. Carson Palmer to throw. And here comes another flag, or two,
or three.
Jermaine Gresham was the initial target.
Pass interference, number 57. Defense, half the distance to the goal. Still automatic first down.
So Will Hoyt called on that one.
Michael Will Hoyt right here. This route is going to go like there. He just doesn't turn around and look for the football when it's in the air. And 3 consecutive penalties, interference penalties on this 49ers defense. You want to give them credit for the stops. They got to find a way to not interfere with these receivers.
David Johnson, the football, and he cannot get to the goal line.
That was Gerald Hodges with that initial penetration right up to the gut. And the Cardinals have number 53, A.Q. Shipley right here. But watch the penetration for 51, completely up in this play. Kills the fullback, which is an offensive lineman, and the rest of the defense swarms to the ball.
I mean, we are seeing extraordinary defense from this 49er team, playing without Glenn Dorsey and Ahmad Brooks today.
Well, this is definitely something they can rally around.
David Johnson with a Cardinal touchdown.
Even though they gave up the touchdown there was a lot of plays from within the 5-yard line. That 49ers defense should not hold their heads down here. Yes, they had a bunch of penalties, but they were showing some resiliency. But David Johnson makes a great cut here. You'll see this penetration again, but he comes right off that penetration, comes back into the fold here and scores a touchdown. Great eyes. Now his 4th rushing touchdown of the day. He's got that lane right through there. Eric Armstead can't get a tackle on him. They finally scored a touchdown. This potent Arizona offense finally scores a touchdown.
The rookie from Northern Iowa reaches the end zone, and the extra point from Cannizzaro. It's now 13-3 Cardinals. Well, they had a lot of chances after a lot of penalties. In the end, they gave it to Johnson, who found it. Great scenery here in Northern California, and for the Cardinals trying to win their 5th straight and their 9th game of the season, leading the NFC West. The Seahawks are trailing the Steelers by 4 up in Seattle. The closest team to Arizona in the NFC West, as Ellington, that's Bruce, will bring it out. And returns to the 23-yard line. It all comes down to one game for Michigan State and the undefeated Iowa Hawkeyes as the 5th-ranked Spartans and 4th-ranked Iowa play for the Big Ten Championship and a possible college football playoff berth. You can expect that. We hope you tune in for that Saturday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox. And Drew Stanton, a Michigan State guy. Kirk Ferentz, the coach at Iowa, was on the Bill Belichick staff in Cleveland when Eric Mangini was part of that. Now the defensive coordinator. Upstairs watching this 49er team today. Gabbard on 1st down, knocked away. Gerard Powers having a solid game today against this limited 49er offense.
They have yet to really get anything going. They had to drive right before halftime, but so much energy. I keep wanting to emphasize this. Coming from that defense of the 49ers, it's got to translate over to the other side of the ball. Got to be frustrated this offense cannot get anything going.
Lucky. Ricky. Oh, shit.
Gabbard the other way, wide open is Blake Bell. All the way down to the 30 of Arizona. Rashad Johnson was the only guy in the picture.
I'll tell you what, Chris Myers, put this all on Blaine Gabbert. This is a completely broken down play.
We have an injured player around midfield for the Cardinals. It is Gerard Powers.
But good job by Blaine Gabbert there, keeping his eyes downfield. This is the tight end right here. He's just going to leak out here. And when Blaine Gabbert scrambles away, you know, some quarterbacks get their eyes down looking at the rush, but he's always looking for that extra pass when he's scrambling. He finds his big tight end who's having to play today because Garrett Selleck got injured earlier in the football game.
And Bell, we mentioned fourth-round choice from Oklahoma, returning to action the last 2 games. Still looking for his first game of the season with more than 1 catch as Powers is being helped over to the sideline. That was a 48-yard play, and that's the biggest offensive play of the game for the 49ers so far. Justin Bethel will come in to play for Powers on that Cardinal defense. Now, each team's second play of the half was a 48-yard pass play, which has helped shake up this defensive game. Certainly hope that Powers is okay and playing well today. Gabbert 13 out of 20, 140 yards and 1 interception. Sean Drone, who had the biggest run of the day for the 49ers, a 19-yarder knocked down on 2nd down 6.
There's Blaine Gabbert having a productive day, but not a great day yet. Still need to see him get the ball in the end zone. He in the red zone twice last week. Didn't score. They need to put some points on the board now.
This is the closest the 49ers have been to the end zone today. Pass is caught by Drone, who zooms inside the 15, falls down at the 12. Marcus Golden making the stop.
Free blitzer again on Blaine Gabbert here, but there's a screen set up right behind it. And Sean Drone, when he gets this ball, is doing what he's doing since he's been on this football field for the 49ers, showing some explosion, some toughness, the great hands that we mentioned earlier, picked up some big yardage.
It's Drone, knocked down at the 7.5-yard line. Tyrann Mathieu after that 12-yard pickup previously.
Really good block by Blake Bell right here. You're going to see him come across, and there's going to be a little seam that he creates on the other side of the football that allows Sean Drone to get in that gap and again pick up some nice yardage.
Drone as a receiver going to the top of your screen. Good hands. Gabbert underneath. It's a touchdown, 49ers. Vance McDonald. All 4 of Gabbert's touchdown passes have gone to tight end since he's taken over the starting role.
A lot of people want to compare Blaine Gabbert to Alex Smith. Well, obviously, he likes his tight ends just like Alex Smith does in Kansas City. And a good drive. Started with that explosive play to Blake Bell, that 48-yard completion. Some good touches from Sean Drones, and then a nice red zone conversion to Vance McDonald, who's right here at the top of your screen, runs underneath that zone. Good eyes by the quarterback, and they get into the end zone.
And now for the extra point to make it a 3-point game. Vance McDonald with his 2nd touchdown of his career. Blaine Gabbert has the underdog 49ers within 3. Along with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, glad to have you watching the NFL on Fox in this NFC West matchup, and the leaders Arizona. Rams lost today. That's who the Cardinals will play next in St. Louis, and the Seahawks trailing against the Steelers as they get ready for the 3rd quarter. David Johnson, who had the touchdown run, back to receive and takes it on the bounce and downs it. Cardinal offense comes out to the 20. This January, the celebration begins as we kick off the farewell season of American Idol, a show that made so many superstars ready to discover an idol one last time. Don't miss the So Long season premiering Wednesday, January 6th on Fox. Chris Johnson over on the Cardinal bench being checked on, so Andre Ellington is the back. Normally the 3rd down back in the rotation that Bruce Arians uses.
All those 49ers at the line of scrimmage, Chris.
Palmer's throw to a wide open J.J. Nelson, the rookie who had the big touchdown grab last Sunday night. Let's check in with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, the Cardinals had to cart cornerback Gerard Powers back to the locker room. He has a right lower calf injury. He's doubtful to return. He looked very frustrated as he shook the doctor's hand, just shaking his head as he went back to the locker room, Chris. Also, Garrett Selleck with that ankle injury over on the 49ers sideline. He's out for the rest of the game, Chris.
All right, thank you. The 49ers tight end position getting some production. As we mentioned, Chris Johnson, the starting running back, being checked over on the Cardinal bench. After the first down completion, Ellington straight ahead with a big hole. Andre Ellington with a first down to the 48 of the 49ers.
That was the first real explosive run that we've seen from the 49ers, and they love to bang these double teams in here. 64 is going to be over. Just roll it. You'll see the double team right there on 64.
You're directing now.
And then Andre Ellington comes off that double team and gets right 12-yard gain. Nice run.
Best run of the day for the Cardinals. Carson Palmer through the hands of Michael Floyd. Wanted to mention Andre Ellington, who was one of the valuable players last year. Remember, Carson Palmer got hurt. He got the team to 8-1. They made it to 9-1. Looked like they were going to have home field advantage in the playoffs, but Ellington got hurt after Palmer and Stanton got hurt, and the team, of course, had to go to backups at running back and quarterback before losing in that playoff game against the Carolina Panthers. And boy, those two teams could ultimately meet to decide who plays here in Super Bowl 50. Ellington the football to about the 45.
Yeah, as I look at the NFC, those are by far the class of the conference. Arizona with the points, and there's Chris Johnson. Looks like he's too walking back to the locker room.
So that'll put more on Ellington and David Johnson, also Stephon Taylor.
But you know, Carolina does it different than Arizona. We know these guys light up the scoreboard. Cam Newton's having an MVP season. One of these two quarterbacks, I think, at the end of the day is going to be the best in the league.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 7. Hit as he throws and off the hands of J.J. Nelson. It'll be 4th down. Eric Armstead, the first-round pick of the 49ers, put the pressure on.
Big-time pressure here. Navarro Bowman, you'll see him come around that loop blitz right there and put pressure on, along with Eric Armstead, the rookie who's getting a lot more playing time in this defense today. They get off on 3rd down.
And Jennifer Hale updating that it's a knee injury on Chris Johnson. He has a questionable return in this game. The punt into the end zone. 49er defense has been extraordinary all day, and they do the job. The offense will take over at the 20-yard line. That's Andre Ellington, and they're checking his foot. Remember, Chris Johnson already went to the locker room with a knee injury.
Yeah, and watch, I believe that's Ken Acker comes in and hits Chris Johnson on his left knee as he's on that one drive right before their last touchdown.
John Drone with the carry. The Cardinals do have 4 running backs active for today. It's been a physical game that has some players having left injured for Arizona. Gerard Powers in the secondary along with the 2 running backs, and Garrett Selleck knocked out for the 49ers. But a chance for San Francisco to move the ball and force a tie or possibly even take the lead. Gabbert, plenty of time to throw, and Anquan Bolden with a catch across the 37-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Chris, this is how an offense is supposed to look right here. Little play action boot. We used to call this a G-pass. He looks like he's booting out, but he sets up in the pocket, and he's always going to be looking for this dig. Look at his eyes. The progression back to Anquan Bolden, and a nice throw and completion.
Well, the Cardinal coach, Bruce Arians, thought a lot of Gabbert when he was coming out of the draft and said, I can see a team building around this guy. He appreciated the guy's toughness and his arm strength. And he's showing it here. A little underthrown, but the catch is made by Torrey Smith.
Jim Tomsula said that he wanted to come out in the second half and take some chances on offense, but he needed to see progress from the offense. He saw it on the last drive, and then watch Torrey Smith. He's going to run a little out and then up, and he runs away from Tyrann Mathieu for a big play.
Without a huddle, the give is to Sean Drone, and that gain of 40-plus yards. And 2 big pass plays in this half for this 49er offense.
Well, here it goes again. You'll see the out, and he's on Tyrann Mathieu, and Tyrann does a pretty good job catching up, but you got to take some chances with Torrey Smith. Force the issue. He's a great receiver. He has great speed. Could be an asset for this offense if they use him correctly.
Blitz coming. Pass caught. Here comes a flag as Blake Bell goes down. The flag away from the catch.
Pass interference, number 89. Offense, 10-yard penalty remains, second down.
And they're calling the infraction on Vance McDonald.
Well, they had a bunch set at the bottom of the formation here, and they're playing man-to-man. Vance McDonald is on his guy. I'm not sure that this was a penalty. Vance McDonald is right here on Dayon Buchanan. He's just running his route. There's contact on both guys. Watch him come out. There's no pass interference there. I don't get that. That's a bad call.
Don't be shy about your opinion. Gabbert trying to set up the screen. Drone hangs onto the football. Gets back down to the 25.
Well, too much this year, Chris, and I don't want to pile on the referees, but there was such a big emphasis on offensive pass interference, and there's been numerous games that we've done where guys are just running routes and the defenders are covering them, and they're calling them pick plays and offensive pass interference. I'm not sure if that was Pete Morelli's crew's thought there, but that certainly was not pass interference on McDonald there.
It was an edict early, one of those points of emphasis by the officiating crew's offensive pass interference. Got some of it back on 3rd and 14. Catch at the 20, and powering his way is Blake Bell, all the way down to the 15. Not enough for the first down, but it makes a field goal a bit easier if that's the choice they want to make.
Well, the ex-quarterback is the hot receiver in the third quarter today, and they're going to bring out the field goal unit, but you got to be impressed with the way that the quarterback is handling the situation here, the way that the team is responding. They get an opportunity to tie the football game right now.
It'll be from 33. 17 in a row. Remember, he hit a 53-yarder. And Phil Dawson ties this game. Under a minute and a half to play in the third quarter. The 49er defense has toughened, and the offense gets 3. That 3-pronged attack for San Francisco in the last drive. The Blake Bell in the middle came in with 3 catches, but the rookie from Oklahoma has 3 today. And the big gainer to set up opportunities. David Johnson coming out of the end zone and knocked down at the 21-yard line. Bruce Arians reminded his team to be careful coming out to this part of the country and taking on the 49ers. Last time the Cardinals won here, Kurt Warner hit Larry Fitzgerald in 2008. Tim Hightower had to make it a third quarter lead for the Cardinals. They won 23-13, and that season the Cardinals finished 9-7 and made that improbable at the time, that improbable run to the Super Bowl, eventually losing to the Steelers, who still lead in Seattle in the third quarter. Pass caught by David Johnson. Andre Ellington has gone to the locker room. Just get out of his way. Chris Johnson already in the locker room, so thin at running back. The rookie from Northern Iowa, and Stephon Taylor, the third-year back from Stanford, is what Carson Palmer has to work with. That could be an issue going forward. I know they're high on this kid. We talked about him earlier in the broadcast.
He's putting an added load on his shoulders here with those 2 injuries.
David Johnson stopped short. You know, Carson Palmer came in with 3 straight 300-yard passing games. He's below 200 yards passing today, and we're almost in the 4th quarter.
Again, I think there's been such an emphasis by this Cardinals offense to run the football, try to beat it down these 49ers' throat, just like Seattle did last week. But again, that front of San Francisco with Ian Williams and Quentin Dial and all these young defenders standing up to task today, keeping them in check.
On 3rd down and 1, Palmer throws. Fitzgerald with the first down, just short of the 34-yard line. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. Tie 49ers and Cardinals. Barber, Chris Byers, and crew, hope you're enjoying what's left of your Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And a good one here in Santa Clara. Tied at 13 to start the 4th quarter. 7 catches for Larry Fitzgerald. 1st and 10 Cardinals from their own 34. And Palmer is in trouble and gets rid of it. Ends up getting knocked to the ground.
I think Carson Palmer was expecting to be sacked right there. Again, a lot of good pressure by this 49er defense. Both linebackers coming through that A-gap. It's really the pressure off the edge. Lemonnier there running through left tackle forces Carson Palmer out of the pocket.
Palmer having an MVP-type season. He'll turn 36 years old in a month. But today, this 49er defense has kept him from throwing a touchdown pass. David Johnson, the back, has the run into the end zone and carries here. It'll be 3rd down. Navarro Bowman, first one to get to him. Let's check in again with Jennifer.
Well, Chris, frustration is mounting here on the Cardinals sideline, as are the injuries. Andre Ellington was able to put his cleat back on as he limped into the locker room. He has a left foot injury, questionable to return, Chris. Definitely favoring that foot as he goes in for more examination.
And Bruce Arians, a favorite, Andre Ellington, a favorite of his, but says he's not durable enough. He needs to stay healthy so we can count on him. One of the reasons Chris Johnson had the starting job. On 3rd and 8. Palmer gets out of it. There's a flag down, and he's down across the 35. Aaron Lynch put the heat on.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 95. Defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
The call on Tank Carradine.
Well, that's just frustrating for the defense. Tank Carradine's over here, and see they're running a little twist game, and Tank Carradine gets his hands in the face of the center right there, and that is a penalty. But there was absolutely nowhere to throw that football down the field. Good job by the secondary of the 49ers to force Carson Palmer to eat that ball and take a sack, but the penalty negates it all.
And a good job by Aaron Lynch, who has 37, make it 38 whether that counted or not, but in quarterback pressures, only J.J. Watt has more than him this season. And that's the kind of pressure they want to keep on Carson Palmer. He still has it and time to throw, but can he find anybody? Towards Johnson, out of bounds.
Well, their defense is stepping up to the occasion. Again, nowhere for Carson Palmer to get rid of that football. He was trying to throw a little out here to Larry Fitzgerald, but Ken Acker had him completely bottled up with some help underneath. Yeah, they're starting to heat it up. Eli Harold in there for Ahmad Brooks, who's not playing today. Good job.
Not enough can be said about defensive coordinator Eric Mangini moving upstairs for the first time against the top-rated, top-scoring offense in the league this year. by Fitzgerald, and it'll bring up a third down. Let's talk about Larry Fitzgerald in his 12th season, having another outstanding year. It took him a while to figure into the role of what Bruce Arians wanted in the offense.
Well, now the third year in this system, moving into that Z position, that move position. He's got to do a lot of blocking, but because of his positioning on the field, he ends up being the hot receiver a lot of times in the pass routes. Why he has, 8 catches today, came into this game with 73. But he's such a reliable catcher. He never drops anything. Expect for him to get the ball here too.
Palmer looks that way, and incomplete behind Fitzgerald, but there was pressure and frustration for Carson Palmer.
Well, this offense is definitely not functioning at high levels like it has been. Carson Palmer has plenty of time in the pocket here, and the route gets a little disrupted at the bottom of your screen. Right here, you're going to see him and Brown here kind of get, in the same area. But Carson Palmer's got to make that delivery. I'm sure they've done that 1,000 times in practice.
Bruce Ellington back for the Drew Butler punt, waving everybody away from it. Make sure it's just down right away. It was bouncing the other way. And we got a couple of guys going at it. Away from the ball. Easy now. Easy.
Ken Akers lucky he didn't get a penalty right there. That was unnecessary. And if I saw that right, it looked like he put his knee into his chest after he got him onto the ground.
Blaine Gabbert with a touchdown pass. And in the second half has rallied the 49ers into a tie. This pass low and incomplete.
Let's go back to that special teams play real quick. And this is Ken Acker on Golden, the wide receiver for Arizona. Just the after the play stuff, with the knee into the belly, knee into the chest. I mean, it's just unnecessary. We saw Tom Sewell on the sideline just berating his corner. You just don't want to put your offense in a situation where you get a penalty and back him up further.
And there was no flag on that play, amazingly. Gabbert on second down, pass complete. Getting the first down is Vance McDonald.
Blaine Gabbert is really good at doing this, getting out of the pocket and finding guys down the field. He's not looking to run the football. We know he has the ability to. He's a great athlete. But I am really impressed with the way that his eyes stay downfield, looking for that crosser, that tight end. We've seen it about 3 times today already.
Playing in the fourth quarter of a game with his chance to win, and this is his third start as a 49er. And Jerome may have another, just a little short of another first down with his 18th touch of the game.
I know he's got fresh legs because he hasn't been playing, but this ball goes outside, but watch the cut. The cut there, and then this cut right here is impressive. Right, left foot in the ground, get vertical, pick up positive yardage.
He was with the Browns for 5 games earlier this year, then waived and sitting around waiting for the phone to ring, and the 49ers gave him a call in November, early November, as he goes down here. An excellent defensive play when they needed it most. Deone Buchanan.
Well, here he's trying to get a little bit too much yardage, trying to bounce this play out to the outside. Just a really good play by Deone Buchanan. See the double pullers right there. Good job by Okafor setting the edge, but Deone Buchanan, who was a little bit questionable earlier in the week with concussion, comes in and makes a nice tackle for loss.
And leads this team in tackles. 49ers 0 for 7 on third down. They need 7 yards here. Blitz coming. Gabbert throwing incomplete. Bolden the target, and it's fourth down.
Oh, he had his guy too. Anquan Bolden working on Tyrann Mathieu in the slot. He did come open. Blaine Gabbert feeling a little bit of pressure, maybe seeing a ghost there. Should have completed that pass.
Ten and a half minutes to play as Bradley Pinion stands back at the 27-yard line. And booms gives it away for Patrick Peterson. Fair catch at the 15. Missed opportunity from Gabbert in the 49er offense. We're tied at 13. Cardinals averaging more than 33 points a game, stuck on 13 in the fourth quarter. They put up 47 when they faced this 49er team back in September. Still keeping it on the ground. Johnson knocked back when he got near the 20, and there's a flag down.
Holding, number 84. Offense, after this is a goal. First down.
Jermaine Gresham called for the penalty. The 5th accepted on Arizona. Jim Tomsula's team has been flagged 11 times.
This 49ers defense has played so well today. If they can keep this unit down here, force a backed up punt, get a short field, all of a sudden people are going to start wondering, can this 49ers beleaguered team come away with the upset here?
Carson Palmer's pass to Larry Fitzgerald. He gets one block and gets up to the 50. You saw those total yards, over 300 for San Francisco, well above their average. More than this Cardinal offense at the moment. Rhonda, you couldn't tell watching this game who was the team at the top of the division of the NFC West and who was the team at the bottom.
You really could not. And I will give, again, credit to this unit responding to Jim Tomsula, asking for the pride this 49ers organization has. We haven't seen it much this year. It's on showcase today.
Seahawks are trailing Pittsburgh, but only by 1 late in the third quarter. Johnson is a receiver, and Navarro Bowman made sure he didn't get much. It's going to be third down.
Chris, how many times have we seen the ball go down the field with this Arizona offense? And I can only think of the one shot to John Brown so far today.
Well, remember, Chris Johnson and Andre Ellington are both hurt. Ellington usually the third down receiver. David Johnson, the rookie, having to carry the load, with Stephon Taylor, the blocking back, on what is a passing situation. Pressure is picked up, so there's time for Carson Palmer to complete to Jermaine Gresham, and he gets the first down. It really required an extra push from the 6'5" former Bengal.
Good pressure again on Carson Palmer, but a good job by Gresham running through this tackle, this would-be tackle, to pick up the extra 2 or 3 yards after contact needed for that first down.
And the first catch of this game for Gresham, just across the 25-yard line. David Johnson gets through the hole, but at the 32 is held in check. And there's a flag late. Larry Fitzgerald working the official with something. Looked like it may have been a late hit in that pile, maybe by the offense or a member of that Cardinal team. I think Larry was saying, wait, but he was still running. Meaning David Johnson carrying the football.
We can see they're conferring, and they're probably trying to find out if this play was indeed still going on before that.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 70. Offense, 15-yard penalty and second down.
Bobby Massey of the Cardinals called.
They say it's on Bobby Massey, but watch 63. He's right here.
That set
right
line, the center.
He's the one that comes in late into this pile and upends Jaquiski Tart there. It's not 70. I think they got that penalty wrong.
And they just corrected it on the microphone. Pete Morelli just corrected that infraction, but it's and Bruce Arians doesn't like that. But now, after the penalty, 2nd and 19. And almost intercepted. Trying to get it to Fitzgerald. Navarro Bowman there. There were 3 49ers on the coverage.
Well, Gerald Hodges is apologizing because 53 is going to pick this ball off, but Hodges on the other side comes and gets in his way. Carson Palmer stares it down, and Navarro Bowman should have had an interception here, but 51, his own defender, kind of knocked him out of his way. That was a poor decision by Carson Palmer there. It was really telegraphed. Sitting up here, I could tell where he was going with it, and so could the 49ers defense.
On 3rd down and 19. Palmer is going deep for Floyd. There's a flag down and incomplete. The flag came in the middle of the field. Kenneth Acker, there's another flag on the 49ers sideline over there that was thrown.
Well, I think the one flag is going to be some sort of interference on the 49ers, but that last flag is going to be sideline interference.
One flag at the 35-yard line, and the other one came back at the 49ers sideline around the 32-yard line after the play had ended. And a couple of flags in that area. Kenneth Acker was on the coverage for the 49ers.
There are 2 fouls on the play by the 49ers. Illegal contact, number 25, that penalty will be declined. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Referee ran into members of the bench area. That's a 15-yard foul. Automatic first down.
Let's take a look. Jimmy Ward called for the pass interference.
Jimmy Ward's in the slot there, and you see him grabbing on Larry Fitzgerald. But watch the referee up here at the top of your screen as he's backpedaling. You see the 49ers coming onto the field, and when he hits them, that is a penalty. They cannot be in the white there. That's where that second flag came from.
A 15-yard penalty. And it looked like Torrey Smith was the player standing in that white stretch. You often see coaches say, get back, get away, and that's why. Well, Kenneth Acker was good on the coverage, but bottom line, 12th penalty on the 49ers, and they've been pretty good in that department, keeping the yardage down, and now it's 1st and 10.
Well, they've had opportunities on this drive, especially to get off on 3rd down. One, they give up a completion to Jermaine Gresham. He falls forward, breaks the tackle, and gets a 1st down, and now the penalty continues this drive for the Cardinals. Just shoot themselves in the foot, and they have a great opportunity here.
Everybody backing off that sideline now. Carson Palmer has time. He is going deep for Brown. Middle of the field and incomplete. 2 49ers running on each side of John Brown.
He had him. He was past Jaquaski Tart. It's a little too much on it. John Brown can't come underneath that. You know they're going to take their opportunities. Bruce Arians is a risk it, no biscuit kind of coach. When he gets an opportunity to see some guys in man coverage, they're going to take a shot.
Palmer goes down and goes down hard. Quentin Dial with the sack. And there's a flag.
Wow, roughing the passer, number 92 defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, 92, Quentin Dial is going to come in this way. He's going to get a clean hit. See the setup by Ian Williams. Oh man, that's tough. That is such a tough call for a defensive lineman. His head is up. He hits him chest to chest. But because Carson Palmer's helmet is affected, they call the roughing penalty. That's tough on Quinn Dial. I don't know what to tell him there.
I thought the officials this year were going to, I know there's helmet to helmet, but they were going to be a little bit more, I guess, lenient in those.
Well, he clearly wasn't trying to hit him with the top of his helmet, the crown of his helmet.
No.
Man, that's...
I didn't think that was a very good call when you look at the replay. As David Johnson gets near a first down, the Cardinals benefit from that penalty and try and take advantage.
There's been a couple of penalties on the 49ers on this drive, and just keep an eye right up here. This drive continues. Not sure when this drive started, but the clock is starting to work against them at this point. It's because this drive continues to drone on.
A tough call against Quinton Dial when it looked like he made a big play for this 49er offense, or defense, excuse me. The Cardinals first down now on offense as Palmer hands off to David Johnson.
And remember, David Johnson's getting the bulk of this running game right now because Chris Johnson is out of the game, as is Andre Ellington, so the rookie is having to take on a big role. And a lot of the guys on the Cardinals staff, Coach Arians loved him. He said he's just a smooth runner. He doesn't look like he's moving fast. But he's definitely somebody that's in their future plans. He's getting some playing time right now.
Just wonder how much this 49er defense can hold up with the avalanche of penalties that have been called against them. Palmer's on the run and gets rid of it. Ian Williams was chasing him that time.
Well, you could tell that playing with a lot of fire still. I mean, there's nothing you could do about some of the calls. They continue to put pressure on Carson Palmer. A bunch of different guys have been in the backfield. No matter what's happened to them, they continue this fight.
It's 3rd and 9. You're looking at about a 59-yard field goal, but if they can pick up 6 or 7 yards, they might take a shot. Palmer to Fitzgerald. We've said it a lot today.
Who else would you expect to get this football? This is a very, very crafty route by Larry Fitzgerald here again. Talked about when they know you're going to be in man, they get in this bunch, and he's going to come up here and then end up going out. This is just a nice communication, or understanding, I should say, between Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald. And that was just about as easy as it comes. I'm sure they've completed that route 1,000 times in practice. On a crucial situation, they get it done there.
And it was just enough for the first down. Fitzgerald's 10th catch of this game and moving up the history charts. Palmer to throw if he can, and he can't. Knocked down at the 36. Give Mike Purcell much of the credit.
Jaquiski Tart comes on a pressure on the outside. He's right here. He's going to juke the back, actually run through David Johnson, get Carson Palmer's arm, and then Purcell's able to finish off that sack. Good job by this 49ers defense again. Tough-nosed football, put pressure on the quarterback. They're doing their job today.
Picked up, stumbling, Carson Palmer throws deep, and J.J. Nelson makes the catch.
Carson Palmer almost fell down when he got this snap. Tripped on the turf.
All the way to the 1-yard line where it's 1st and goal Cardinals.
And this route just comes straight across the field on Jimmy Ward, the safety trying to play corner, and J.J. is just a little too fast for him. But good job by Carson Palmer. He literally almost fell on that snap, was able to deliver the football.
34-yard gain. Nelson, the speediest of a very speedy receiving corps. David Johnson. No. And Hodges throws him to the ground. Lyle Senline, the center, slow, getting up and holding his arm in pain. one of only 3 current Cardinals who has won on the 49ers home turf.
The play before, this Carson Palmer, I said, watch him come out of the, get this snap, and he gets right on that landmark, the San Francisco thing in the middle of the field, and he almost falls and just lofts it up to the receiver. Big play. Good job by Carson Palmer there, fighting through that.
You know, those are the things when you're having an MVP type year that don't show up in the statistics. But when you watch enough games, you see the value of the season that Carson Palmer is having. And Rondé,
absolutely,
he said, you know, when we asked him about Comeback Player of the Year award, it would mean a lot to him, not the individual award. The big prize is the Super Bowl, because he said, yes, he knows time is running out on his career, and this may be his best chance. But after that devastating injury last year, when he thought he had a shot to get there, for Palmer to work his way back and have the success he's having today, whatever awards that he wins, he's having an outstanding year.
He's been fantastic. The film I've watched, I see throws that I don't see any quarterback in the league making. He's been just a blessing for this offense since he's been here in 3 years. The injuries obviously hurt. And he's the reason they are where they are now.
Getting the ball to different receivers, extra lineman in, extra tight end in. And here's a flag.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So the call on the Cardinals, you know, Sendline stayed in the game. Now it's going to be second and goal at the 7.
See your right guard right there. That's Ted Larson. Clearly a false start. You heard Carson Palmer deploring. Is that on us? Yes, it's on you, Carson. Not on you specifically, but on your offense. 49ers defense had a good stop last time down in the red zone. Let's see if they can match that, give themselves an opportunity here.
The NFL's touchdown pass leader looking for his first today in a tie game with 2.5 to play. Carson Palmer, can he run it in? Palmer to the goal line and into the end zone. Touchdown, Carson Palmer. An awkward-looking spike, but that's okay. He did what he had to do.
Hey, he's excited, and you know, you write up a game plan as you're studying Carson Palmer, and you don't say that he's a runner, but one thing, every quarterback in the league is a runner in the red zone. You know it's a short field. He only has to beat a couple of guys to the pylon. That's some gritty stuff right there by number 3. Great drive by Arizona, benefited by some penalties. Carson Palmer showed us all a little something with that deep pass down to the goal line and then tucking it and running for a touchdown.
Chin strap knocked off. That probably took it back to his high school days of running all over the place. And the extra point, you heard it, not good. That's the 3rd point after touchdown missed before Palmer could even catch his breath. And oh boy, that gives Jim Tomsula's team a chance to get a touchdown and win this game with the extra point. But Carson Palmer takes it into the end zone for the lead. For the Cardinals, that was their longest scoring drive of this season in both plays and time. Nearly 8 minutes, 14 plays, and Carson Palmer, his first rushing touchdown since he was a Raider in 2012. 8th career rushing touchdown. But time on the clock and 3 timeouts for the 49ers, who trail by 6. The short kick goes to Quentin Patton. And he spins out of a tackle and gets up to the 21-yard line. Blaine Gabbert will take the field and lead the offense after 35-year-old Carson Palmer found the end zone. Seahawks 3 games behind the Cardinals in the West as Vance McDonald makes the catch. Seahawks are losing at home with 13 minutes left in that game with Pittsburgh.
Hurry, hurry!
49ers with Drone taking the pass and getting the first down, have all 3 of their timeouts and still the 2-minute warning.
Got an extra timeout there. Saw Drone getting out of bounds before the 2-minute warning, and this is Blaine Gabbert's time now. An opportunity to continue to prove his worth, not only to San Francisco, but to everybody around the country that doubted him. He's got a 2-minute drive with a chance to win the football game.
Traded for a 6th-round pick back in 2014, the former #1 pick of Jacksonville. Revitalizing his career here with the 49ers. Pass is caught. That's McDonald, and Vance McDonald. Ball comes out at the end, but he was out of bounds around the 41 of Arizona. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. The 49ers trail the division-leading Cardinals by 6, but they are on the move. Gabbert, 1 career game-winning drive. That was with Jacksonville against the Colts when Indy's offensive coordinator was Bruce Arians. And on the run, the catch is made at the 30. Anquan Boldin.
Again, impressed with Blaine Gabbert finding a way out of the pocket. There was pressure burning down his back as he delivered that strike to Anquan Boldin.
Pickup of 12, first down. 3 timeouts, 49ers. Incomplete, dropped. Quentin Patton on the sideline.
Watch this laser by Blaine Gabbert here. He comes out of the pocket. There's heat on him right away, but athleticism, and then just the touch, the fire of that flick of the wrist. Nice play. Impressed, really, Chris, with Blaine Gabbert, the calm and the assuredness that he shows in situations like this. We saw it in a 2-minute drill at the end of the half last week. See how he finishes this drive this week.
Down the sideline, incomplete. Trying to go to Torrey Smith, but the coverage was good by Patrick Peterson.
Haven't mentioned Patrick Peterson much today is because he's been completely taking Torrey Smith out of the football game. We weren't sure if he was going to follow him around, but he's been with him every single snap today.
And maybe Gabbert going in that area even in a tough spot because Peterson has 7 defensive penalties against him this season. Gabbert, 300 passing yards, his most as a 49er, his career high, 303. Blitz coming. Gabbert is going to go down inside the 40. Tony Jefferson from the safety spot.
Well, there's one thing that James Bechter is doing, just like Todd Bowles did last year as the defensive coordinator, and that's whenever the heat is on and they need to make a play, they are bringing pressure. Does not matter where it comes from. 3 or 4 guys, and you see Tony Jefferson come in there way late, unaccounted for, and gets Blaine Gabbert on the ground.
12 different players with sacks this season for James Bechter, who has done a top-notch job as the defensive coordinator for Bruce Arians, and there was no hesitation when the change was made. Arians wanted him to move up into that spot and run his defense. So now it's 4th down and 20.
Kelly! Got you, buddy.
Gabbert, catch made, but short of the first down by just 1.5 yards. Anquan Boldin hauled it in, but the Cardinal defenders aware of where the first down marker was. Still 2 timeouts for San Francisco.
Well, Anquan Boldin just gets another yard down the field, and you just got to feel for this 49ers team right now. They work so hard for the cause today, try to get an upset win, and yes, there's 1:12 left on this clock, but it seems like a little too much to overcome at this point. It showed you a lot, though, because coming into this game, I don't think anybody was expecting this to be a 19-13 game.
A tremendous effort from the 49ers, but the sack of Gabbert, he had to realize in that situation, get rid of it. You can't take the sack, and that's why it was 4th and 20, a nearly insurmountable situation as Palmer and the Cardinals, he's throwing, and John Brown is catching for a first down to keep the clock running. As a timeout will be used, the 49ers will only have 1 remaining. Boy, when Bruce Arians says we're aggressive all the time, he's not kidding.
Well, Ken Acker came off the line of scrimmage there, and he just, You know, he's running the offense the way it always runs. He gets a light. He threw it.
It all comes down to one game. Michigan State and Iowa, 5th-ranked Spartans, 4th-ranked Hawkeyes for the Big Ten Championship and likely onto the college football playoff. A lot of drama that you can see Saturday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox. Rondé and I want to thank the media staffs, Bob Lang of the 49ers, also from the Cardinals, Mark Dalton, Chris Melvin, and the guys that work with them to help us do our job. And it's been an entertaining game when you think about the last 2 times that these two teams met.
It really has been, and you'll come down, we'll look at this game afterwards, and it'll be that sack that Blaine Gabbert took on that 3rd down that was the undoing of that last drive.
And penalties that hurt the 49er defense on the previous drive as Carson Palmer ran it into the end zone. So the Cardinals to 9-2, playing at the Rams and then home with Minnesota. That'll figure in the playoff conversation, rounding out the season home games against the Packers and the Seahawks. Seattle has taken a 4th-quarter lead over Pittsburgh, by the way. 49ers go on to a couple of road games at Chicago and Cleveland. Eric Mangini will go back to the spot he was once the head coach. What a job he and this defense did today in a losing effort.
Really did. I mean, it did rack up 340 yards. But they gave them an opportunity to win this football game, and there just wasn't enough offense at the end of the day to win.
Well, even when you're not at your best as the top-scoring team in the NFL, Bruce Arians' quarterback, who did not have a touchdown pass today, but had a run into the end zone for the difference, and a 19-13 win. We will be back in Santa Clara, California. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox as finally the Cardinals break through and win a game in which the 49ers play the host. 10 catches for Larry Fitzgerald today.